I want to get away of the landscape, and I have FanDuel pulled up. If you want to pull FanDuel up as well, I think what we should do right now is go over our division winners, who's going to win the conference, awards, some potential season leaders, and then let's do our Super Bowl prediction along with our Super Bowl winner. Are you ready to go? Or do you
Yep,
want
let's
me to
do
go
it.
first?
Well, why don't we just you rattle off your division winners and wild card picks from the AFC, and then I'll do mine, and vice versa.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just start with I'm going to start with the AFC. For the division winner of the AFC East, I'm going with the New England Patriots. For the AFC North, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. The AFC South, I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The AFC West, I'm going with the Los Angeles Chargers. And I have to pick 7 playoff teams, so I'm going to go Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chargers, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, I'm picking the Raiders to go to the playoffs. I think that the Chiefs have that season from hell, like I said when we originally previewed these teams. So my playoff teams, again, just so everybody heard me correctly, are the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chargers, and the Raiders. And I think that the Ravens finish with the best record in the AFC. So go ahead and go over your AFC predictions.
So division winners, I've got the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Los Angeles Chargers as well. Okay. Not much parity there. For those of you that were following along for all of the season previews, we obviously just did the Jags. We were both really high on them. The Chargers were a team that we felt will take that next step. And the only real difference here is the Bills and the Patriots. We just kind of went over that. You're a little worried about the injury health of the Bills heading into the season. Me, I'm sticking with the Josh Allen train. I picked him to win I picked the Bills to win the division a few years ago when we first started this, and I penciled them in as long as they have Josh Allen, this is a 10-win playoff team. And I still think that holds true today. My wild card teams are the Chiefs, the Texans, and the New England Patriots. We differ, obviously, only with the Chiefs. You have the Raiders. I think as long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're a playoff team. So my playoff teams from the AFC are the Bills, the Ravens, the Jags, the Chargers, the Chiefs, Texans, Patriots, and then we are in agreement. I have the Ravens as the team with the most wins coming out of the AFC.
Awesome. Okay, let's move into the NFC. My NFC Northeast winner, I'm still going with the Dallas Cowboys at plus 700. I don't know how many wins Micah Parsons was worth, but certainly not the amount that everybody is acting like going after the trade has happened. I still like the Dallas Cowboys to win the division. In the NFC North, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. The NFC South, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the NFC West, I am going with the Arizona Cardinals. My playoff teams for the NFC, I'm going to go Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Green Bay Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Los Angeles Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers. Some big names left out there, if you were following along, are the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Chicago Bears. I think we get 3 teams from the NFC West in the playoffs this upcoming season. They have some of the weakest schedules across the league, and I think that we are going to watch that play out for them. So that is my playoff teams and division winners for the NFC.
All right. Well, I have the only difference that we have comes in the NFC East. I have to pick my guys, Philadelphia Eagles, to win the NFC East. And then the rest I have are the Packers, Bucks, and Cardinals. So we're in agreement with those three. I think the Packers are just going to be a juggernaut this season. I think they will probably have the most wins in the NFC this season. But then my wild card teams are the Rams, the Bears. I was really excited about
The Bears.
the Bears, the Ben Johnson move. I got to put my money where my mouth is.
That's fair.
I will be riding with the Bears this season, and then my final playoff team is the Dallas Cowboys. I do think the Micah trade hurts. Obviously, we're not idiots, but if Dak is there, I still think that they can win 10 games.
I think so too. All right, that's awesome. That's a great way to shape this up. Let's just get into some conferences stuff. This is going to be a little less interesting. To be the number one seed in the AFC, I picked the Baltimore Ravens. That's sitting at plus 320. To be the number one seed in the NFC, I am going to go with the Arizona Cardinals at plus 1,700 on a value play. I was thinking about the Green Bay Packers a little bit, but I think that the Arizona Cardinals could be a very good regular season football team. So I'm going to go with the number one seed in the NFC to be the Arizona Cardinals at plus 1,700, and the number one seed in the AFC being the Ravens at plus 320. Not as interesting, obviously, but I just think that's what happens.
See, when we were doing this, a part of me wanted to put the Chargers as the number one seed in the AFC. They are currently at plus 1,400. I just couldn't disrespect Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, but the Chargers are piquing my interest, and you'll hear that down the road here. But yeah, I'm going with the Ravens and the Packers. I think the Packers are going to win the most games in the NFC, like I said earlier, and I think they're going to be good this year. I picked them to be really good last year, and they didn't necessarily let me down, but I think they'll be even better this year.
I completely agree with you. Okay, let's get into the conference winners. To start, AFC South, AFC Championship winner. It's going to be a little boring, but it's on par for my predictions this entire offseason. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are the team to go and win the AFC and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Who do you have them beating?
I have them beating in the NFC the Green Bay Packers at plus 650, which would be them winning the NFC conference.
Who do you have? I meant who do you have the Ravens beating in the AFC Championship?
In the AFC Championship?
Yeah, so what's the matchup looking like?
I would have them beating I would have them probably beating the Los Angeles Chargers.
That's what mine is. So I had the Ravens beating the Chargers as well.
Nice.
That's why that was one of the two things that I was like highlighting when I was talking about the Chargers potentially being the number one seed. But I do like the Chargers to finally get over that hump and win a playoff game, take it into the AFC Championship. But at the same time, Lamar gets over that hump, gets to play in his first Super Bowl. He's going to face the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl.
No
the
way.
matchup we've been waiting for.
Nobody
the Eagles
wants that matchup. No one wants that matchup other than Eagles fans. No one wants that matchup.
I have the Eagles beating the Packers in the NFC Championship. We're getting a bird bowl.
No one wants that matchup, like at all. Well, I gave away my prediction there a little bit. I'm gonna go to the Super Bowl tab here and just check. The Green Bay Packers to win the Super Bowl is sitting at plus 1,200. The Ravens to win the Super Bowl is at plus 650. The Super Bowl matchup here is Baltimore Ravens, Green Bay Packers is sitting at plus 3,000, which isn't great, but $10 would win you $300. Just some stuff that I like, but those are definitely, that's how I'm personally seeing from a team perspective it shape out across the NFL. Some obvious ones where I'm taking some risks on it, but I'm just hoping that the NFL is not the exact same as it was last year, and it usually isn't. So
Yeah, the Ravens to play the Eagles in the Super Bowl is plus 1900. Um, Baltimore has the best odds in the NFL, and the Eagles are tied for second. Will that realistically happen? No, but I'm picking my team. I think the Ravens are going to be really good. That defense should be nasty, and this is more that I think Lamar can do it. Everybody always says, "Oh, he can't do it. These guys can't do it." Well, until they do it, is what I say.
yeah.
I think he can do it. I think they can get over the hump. I think Lamar Jackson can make it to the Super Bowl, and I think that's what we're going to see this year.
I hope to God it happens. Some stuff here on my end. Let's go to season leaders here and let's start with most regular season passing yards. Obviously, the favorite is going to be Joe Burrow in the plus 410. Something that's another one that I probably like is Jordan Love, probably at plus 2,000. Can that guy take the next step? Matthew Stafford, if he can stay healthy the entire year, sitting at plus 2,200, I like that as well. One that just sticks out to me the most, though, out of all of them, is a guy who was top 5 in passing last year, who is a dog, and people still kind of undervalue his passing ability, and that's Lamar Jackson is sitting at most passing yards at plus 4,000 for this upcoming season. It's a clear value play there, but I think that Lamar could get to the point where he could potentially continue to elevate his passer. He proved it last year with the season that he had, the 42 touchdowns. Why can't he continue to elevate as a passer this upcoming season? So as a dart throw, I mean, some guys in front of Lamar, just to put it in perspective for some people: Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Geno Smith, Justin Herbert, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix. I mean, a lot of these guys don't have any business being in front of Lamar Jackson when it comes to odds at all. So just to get that value there, I just feel like it's a nice value play.
Yeah, the guy that I look at here is Baker Mayfield. I know that he loses Liam Cohen, but that guy loves to sling the rock. And
can I push back on that real quick, because I feel like everyone is really high on. We just talked about this actually, like when we weren't recording. Everyone's so high on the Bucks coming into this season, and he had a great season last year. I'm looking at it right here. He had 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. What is, I guess my question is like, Mike Evans is another year older. He missed half the season last year with a hamstring injury, and he finished with 1,006 yards, and his Hall of Fame career is still intact. And so Chris Godwin's obviously hurt. Mike Evans is another year older. They lose their offensive play caller. And listen, I'm not trying to talk you out of your bet. I actually think that's great value, just based on how much the guy loves to throw. But I think that we're getting so much love around the Buccaneers, and it's like their weapons, although they got Ibuka and everything, and I think he's good. Jalen McMillan's down to start the season. Mike Evans is, like I said, another year older. Chris Godwin's not going to start the season. I think that maybe I'm just a little pause, and this goes for the Buccaneers as a whole, of what they could look like on offense this upcoming season. It could look a little different, is what I'm trying to get at here.
it could, but I think Baker's strong suit is throwing the football, and I think he's pretty good at it.
We went from a world where people were completely out on Baker Mayfield, where he was bouncing around on football teams.
It's crazy.
To now everyone just slotting him in as just being able to just be the guy moving forward. And I think that it's fucking insane. I think it's
I
fucking
mean,
insane.
me picking him to
No,
lead
I
the
know that.
NFL in
I
passing
know
isn't the
that.
same as the hype that he has been getting.
Well, picking him, that means that you're thinking that he's going to have another pretty big season. Like, obviously, that's what it sounds like there. But, like, I think that the Bucks and the Baker Mayfield love have gone like maybe a little too far the one way, in my opinion. But that's fine. That's all I have to say.
Well, my other
Sorry to
guy
derail it.
is no, that's okay. My other guy that I like is Trevor Lawrence at plus 2,000. If he can
Wow.
play the whole season, um, I think
I pray. I have Brian
I
Thomas Jr. in fantasy. That would be massive for me.
yeah, I like the weapons that he has. I love Travis Hunter. I love Brian Thomas. Um, they have what is it? Brenton is Brenton Strange? No,
Yes,
or Theo Johnson. One
it's
of them. They
Brenton
have one of the Penn
Strange.
State tight
It's
ends.
Brenton Strange.
Okay, why are you yelling?
Because dude, Theo Johnson plays for the Giants.
Yeah, I know we just talked about them. I'm getting my Penn State tight ends confused, but I like the weapons that he has, and he's getting a guy in Liam Cohen that we just saw what he did with Baker Mayfield last year. So I think there's good value at Trevor Lawrence if he can play the full season.
You know what's crazy? We're moving on to most passing touchdowns of the regular season. Remember what I gave this out at probably about a month ago for Lamar
Mm,
Jackson?
probably like 4,600 or something.
Hold on, I gotta find it because
Not
sorry
4,600. It was probably closer to like 2,800.
if I remember it correctly, which I can't off the top of my head. I know I have it written down here somewhere. Hold on. Sorry. Just go. Who do you have for most passing touch? Oh, here I have it right here. Oh, okay. No, okay. Most passing yards was sitting at plus 4,200, and now he's
Mm.
sitting at plus 4,000. Okay, that's fine. I thought that was passing touchdowns. My bad. Okay, continue. My most passing touchdowns that I have going into this season is a guy who is going a little bit down on this list, but is Dak Prescott at plus
God damn it.
1,400. I love that value. Like automatically, you have CD Lamb, who's a dog. You have George Pickens, who's a dog. Their running game is extremely weak. I forget the freaking slot wide receiver's name off the top of my head. Jalen Tolbert is his name, and then Jake Ferguson at tight end. I think that there's a real life possibility that Pickens and CD finish with double digit touchdowns this upcoming season. So yeah, I think that they're going to be slinging the pill a ton, and at plus 1,400, and to have to actually scroll down to be able to see Dak Prescott's name, I think is a clear misevaluation of how many touchdowns he can throw this season.
Yeah, that was my pick as well. I think he has and at plus 1,400 too. Um, the gap between him and Joe Burrow at number one is just under like plus 1,000, which is crazy. Because I feel like their offenses are in a similar position as one another. I think the Dallas O line is going to be a little bit better, but I think the running back room in Cincinnati's a little bit better. But I think they both have really solid wide receiver groups and are going to have to throw the football around a lot this year. So I'm surprised the gap is that high. I'm surprised that he's tied with Josh Allen. I think the Bills ran pretty heavy, like a pretty heavy run attack last year. Maybe if it was like total touchdowns and not passing touchdowns, I could see that. I mean, Jared Goff's ahead of him. I think that is crazy. I don't understand how Mahomes is ahead of him either. But yeah, I like Dak Prescott as well, plus 1,400.
Me too. Let's get into the most receiving yards going into this upcoming season. My pick is probably not going to become much of a shock to you because I actually texted it to you the other day. I think year 3 with CJ Stroud and Nico Collins is they're going to eat. Last year going into the season, like there was obviously some buzz around Nico Collins. Nico played in 12 games last season and finished with 68 receptions for 1,006 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's 83 yards per game that he was averaging and an average of 14.8 yards per reception. I'd love going into year 3, and if he can stay healthy for all 17, I could see that being a lethal link up this upcoming season. And that's really just fading the Jamar Chase numbers, being like, he can't repeat it. He can't repeat what he did last season. He could potentially repeat it, but it's just more of a fade. We don't usually see guys lead the league back-to-back seasons with receiving yards. So if they do, defenses should probably do something to figure that out, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I have a pick that is like a very long shot, but I don't want to take. We've already talked about. I'm not taking CeeDee Lamb. I'm not taking. No, I'm not taking. I don't want to take like somebody blatantly obvious. I think my real pick would be CeeDee Lamb, gun to my head. But a guy that would be crazy to see, super long shot, Brock Bowers. I think adding Geno. I think adding Geno Smith to his quarterback room, I think, is just going to be immensely helpful for Brock Bowers.
Why don't you just make that your real pick?
I can do that.
Why do you have to have a fake pick?
Because I don't want people to take this and then lose money.
You're scared. You're scared. You're gonna pick the third odds-on favorite.
No, I'm not. I'm not actually taking them. That was my fake pick. My real pick's Brock Bowers.
There's just as much as a toss-up as CeeDee Lamb and Brock Bowers leading the league. I feel like I don't think it's that outrageous. But yeah, I like that pick. I think that you're dead on right about that. Let's get into most receiving touchdowns going into the 2025 season, because that's just the next thing on the list. And I never really thought about this, to be completely honest. I said this as soon as it happens, and it obviously is dependent on the health of Matthew Stafford. I think Devontae Adams might not be a type of guy who has a lot in his tank from like a true. Actually, you know what? I'm taking this completely back, because Jamar Chase led with 17, and then the next closest was 13. Yeah, I'm backing off of that pick. I think it's gonna have to be somebody with like real value. I'm probably gonna go with Tyreek Hill at plus 1900. If he has anything left in the tank, let's see if he does. And he's clearly going to be that guy that they depend a lot on in Miami. And I could see him getting a similar workload to like a Jamar Chase type, just based on how that offense is set up. So if there's anything left in the tank with Tyreek Hill, which he almost had 1,000 yards last year, and if Tua can stay healthy, at plus, where'd it go? Plus 1900, I'm going to take most receiving touchdowns, Tyreek Hill. He's lightning in a bottle.
I'm taking Malik Neighbors at plus 2,500. He got 170 targets last year.
Bro, they're not going to score. Don't listen. First off, take this pick. They're not even going to be able. They're not even going to be able to score enough. They might not score 17 touchdowns the whole season.
I don't care. I'm taking it from a value perspective, because I just think the volume of targets that he gets is ridiculous. And I think that is going to play. I like my odds with somebody that has 170 targets in a season. I mean, he had the second most targets in the NFL last year. So I'll take my odds with somebody that gets the football as much as he does.
All right, let's get into most rushing yards for the 2025-2026 season. Saquon's obviously leading the top of the board at plus 410. I'm going to go with the guy who's back. He's healthy. He's looking good. He's white, and his name is Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,300. I say that just because I think that this might be one of the last good years that we have of Christian McCaffrey, and I think there's a real possibility that with the health impending of the 49ers wide receiving core that we're going to see an uptick of workload for Christian McCaffrey in the run game. And if that's the case, I think that he's going to get a ton of carries. It would just be a health thing at that point. He's clearly capable of being able to lead the league in rushing if given a full season of health. And that's pretty much just fading the Saquon 2,000 yards season last year. But I mean, I clearly think that, Derrick Henry last season had 20 less carries and finished with only like under 100 yards less than Saquon Barkley as the league leader in rushing. So something to obviously keep in mind too. I mean, those guys are just both insane. So yeah, that's Derrick Henry and Saquon are probably the odds-on favorite, but if they are the odds-on favorite, but if Christian McCaffrey can somehow figure it out from a health perspective, I like him to potentially have one last run in him.
Yeah, and I think we could maybe even see some of the Eagles maybe back off on the carries to Saquon throughout the season because they gave him a shit ton last year. So I'm going to take Josh Jacobs to lead the league in rushing. I talked a lot about the Packers and how I think they're going to be solid. I just think he's going to pick up right where he left off last year and just have another solid season.
That's interesting that you said that because the next thing on our list here is the most rushing touchdowns scored in the 2025-2026 season. And the immediate thought for me is like, who is going to be scoring a ton of touchdowns throughout the course of the year and have a great offense? And I think it's the Green Bay Packers. And I love Josh Jacobs to lead the league in rushing touchdowns at
We lost him. We were meant to be, supposed to be, but we lost it. You're so close to me, just fade away. Oh. We were meant to be, supposed to be, but we lost it.
bro. I thought StreamYard crashed fully and I almost panicked.
No, I think we're all right.
Weird.
You wanted to take Josh Jacobs to score the most rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. That pretty much is dependent on who has the best offense. And I think that they could finish with a top 3 offense and score a ton of points. So Josh Jacobs at plus 1,500 for most rushing touchdowns. Who do you have?
I'm actually going to take Bijan on this one. He was up there last year. I think they'll be more willing to give him the football this year with Penix at the helm. So I'm putting my money on Bijan. He had 13 last year, 14. Yeah. He was only 2 away, and it felt like it was like a quiet 14. So I'm taking my chances with Bijan.
I love it. I think that concludes everything.
Wait, we got to do MVP, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year.
My bad. For MVP, it's going to be beating a dead horse a little bit, but if I think that the Packers are who I say they are and take that next step, I'm going to go with Jordan Love to win MVP at plus 1,600.
This is where my love for the Chargers is coming back to show. I have Justin Herbert winning the MVP.
They won't pass the ball enough. I will say that.
if he throws for like if he gets at 4K and he has like the touchdown to interception ratio that he did last season, and they win their division, I like my odds.
That's fair. I don't think my pushback on that is he's obviously not a rusher, and I don't think he'll nearly pass enough to be able to do it. But that's my only pushback with that. But I like where your head's at. We both have them to win the division as well. For AP NFL Offensive Player of the Year for the 2025-2026 season, I am going to go with Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,500. Like I said, I have 3 teams from the NFC West to be able to go on to the playoffs. I have, with that being said, with the health of this 49ers team, I will continue to double back down on somebody who has proven they're able to be a do-it-all type of guy, passing and catching. And if he's truly healthy this year, I think he's at the top of the list. Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,500.
I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs here at plus 1,300.
Okay, I like it.
I think that the Lions might realize really quickly that they're not going to want Jared Goff to throw the football 40 times a game like he did a lot last year. I think Jahmyr Gibbs will. I know they still have David Montgomery, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs will take majority of those touches. And as long as Montgomery isn't snagging those touchdowns inside the 5-yard line, I think a lot of them will end up going to Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's due for a huge year, and I'd like him to win Offensive Player of the Year.
I actually love that pick as well. Let's go into the NFL Defensive Player of the Year for the 2025-2026 season. This goes back the whole way to a team that I picked to make the playoffs that was a little unconventional. I'm going to go Max Crosby with the Raiders at plus 1,600. I think to be able to solidify them as a playoff team, I think he's also going to have a big season as well. I think that he's a guy capable of putting up a big sack season, and he never comes off the field. So Max Crosby at plus 1,600.
I just have a house pick here, Myles Garrett. I don't
They're
love.
They're not even going to be. He's not going to be in the conversation. They're going to win 3 games this season. I mean, I'm saving you your money on that pick.
I just don't love a lot of these other guys. I mean, I looked at the Max Crosby number 2, and I don't hate it, but
a Defensive Player of the Year award isn't going to go to a team that you think that you have voiced is going to be one of the worst teams.
One of the worst teams. Yeah, that was my only that was my thought.
If you're going to take you might as well take a homer pick and just take Jalen Carter plus 2,200. Just pick something different other than that.
I mean, my other pick was going to be Kyle Hamilton, which would be nasty.
That's
but
way better.
I think that's
plus
tough
5,000
as a safety. That's tough as a safety.
That's the best pick. That's the best pick you had all day.
Yeah, he would have to have a handful of interceptions and just be an absolute
I push
menace.
back on that.
You think?
I think the style of play that he plays, where he's more physical than a true coverage type of safety. I think that I think he could have a few interceptions and still be considered as a top player in the NFL, similar to how when Derwin James was at the peak of his powers, in that sort of manner. I think that he's one of those guys.
See, I think about it the way of like, is the public going to vote based off of numbers? And what does the public like? What do the people like? They like to see numbers. So if they see Kyle Hamilton only have 4 interceptions in the season, like, I think that would end up, even if he's playing it,
I think he's that big of a demon.
I think he'd have to be playing at an outrageous fucking level and only have 4 interceptions and win Defensive Player of the Year. But I think he can.
I love that pick. That was my favorite pick that you had so far. Um, AP NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. This one's hard. This one's extremely hard. So I we both have teams going to the playoffs, and it's between Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton, in my opinion. When I originally said this, when we talked about it, when we previewed the Chargers, we had it at plus 1,000. I think me and you are probably going to share a similar pick here. I'm just going for the value play over the easy layup at plus 250. I'm going to go with the number that we originally locked it in on a month ago, and that is on Marion Hampton at plus 1,000 to win AP NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep, I love that. The guy that I actually picked was Matthew Golden.
The guy you hate. You're not allowed.
I'm looking at it this way.
No, you're not allowed to pick Matthew Golden.
I am.
What you said about Matthew Golden, you are not me as the representative of the Packers of the Cheeseheads. You're not allowed to pick Matthew Golden. So pick someone different.
I'm picking Matthew Golden because I think that if he is as good as everybody thinks, the Packers don't have a solidified wide receiver number one. If he ends up taking over the wide receiver number one role and the Packers are the best team in the NFC, I think at plus 2,200, that's an incredible odds.
Yeah. Hey, I'm right with you. I love Matthew Golden. Let's move on to the AP NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year for the 2025-2026 season. And I am going to go with an all-time homer pick here. I am going to go Will Johnson at plus 2,200. Mm-hmm. He is that guy at corner. He is going to be able to lock down some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And I think that that's going to matter in this upcoming season. Obviously, I think Abdul Carter could easily win this as well, but he's going to be fighting for a lot of competition down there in New York. And if Will Johnson is who I think he is, and the Cardinals are going to be that good, I love Will Johnson at plus 2,200.
I'm taking Travis Hunter for Defensive Player of the Year. Or Defensive Rookie of the Year. I know.
You just told me an hour ago.
I asked you.
Jaguars. You're like, he's not even going to be playing defense that much.
That's not what I said. I asked.
You're picking the guy that would a rookie of the defensive rookie of the year.
I asked the question.
Stoned.
I asked the question if he's going to play that much on defense, and if he ends up doing that, I think it will be extremely impactful. I would love to take Abdul Carter, but he's the odds-on favorite, and that's not fun. And you're right. He will be battling with three other big dogs on that defensive line to put up numbers. So, I'm taking Travis Hunter.
All right. Let's go to AP NFL Comeback Player of the Year for 2025-2026. This is a pick that is different. I think that the way that the media, the way that everybody talks about everybody and this, that, and the third, I'm going to go Dre Greenlaw at plus 10,000. He struggled with injuries the past few years. Can he get back and round out to form and be an impact player like he was with the 49ers? It's at plus 10,000. I mean, $10 wins you $1,000. Clear value play here. But if this defense is as special as everybody is acting like it's going to be, and the Broncos are as special as everybody is acting like they are, I mean, this is my pick for Comeback Player of the Year at plus 10,000, Dre Greenlaw.
I have a pick here. My pick for Comeback Player of the Year is Anthony Richardson.
No. Who is? What's it at?
Plus 5,500.
Okay. I mean,
it's funny. It's funny though, because you shouldn't be able to win Comeback Player of the Year for sucking and then being good.
But you could.
And if Anthony Richardson can actually come back and I mean, if he can transition into a good quarterback, that's great value. But I think it's realistically going to be Dak. I think Dak's just going to have a great season. And and he is coming back obviously off of an injury. Especially if he comes out and leads the league in passing and passing touchdowns, I think it's a very hard case to beat if he comes back and does that. They win 10 games, they make the playoffs. I think that's the obvious choice.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And then let's move on to NFL Protector of the Year. The clear answer here is Zach.
Did they just put this in there this year?
Nah, I don't know. I've heard people talk about it. I'm not going to pick a Protector of the Year. That's funny that you can actually bet on that. If you bet on that, you're a true sicko. So that's funny.
I'm betting Joe Alt at plus 1,500.
I love it.
He's moving positions. The Chargers are going to win the division. He's getting Protector of the Year.
Love it. So we just rounded out the 2025 season. It looks like we're completely done with the off season now. Thank God. A lot of work has been done on my end to get all these videos up, and I can't wait to never post a video ever again.
Yep, that's the end of the channel.